Beautiful scenes here in China. I've completely forgotten where that is.
It's Chongqing.
Chongqing. I would rather not say the incorrect place. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather be like, there's Beijing. Like, show my ignorance is showing.
To be honest, you can't tell by most of those shots.
That's very true. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the LPL. We are going into Game 2 very, very soon. LNG did take Game 1, but it was anything but convincing, and anything apart from the early game, it was everything that we didn't want to see.
I would say that was more like a contract negotiation bonus for Asura. It's like, here is why you should sign me for another 2 years.
And here's another reason. He is our MVP of Game 1, and you can see he was the whole reason they won that last fight. Despite the scores aren't amazing, but he was the reason they won that last team fight.
And we have to roll the clips pretty soon, because it was the clear sense of when to find initiation. This game, before that last team fight, was going in Vici's favor. We saw LNG force these really weird team fights over and over again up the ramp when they had split push advantage, trying to just finish things on, I really don't know what advantage they thought they had right here, but Vici was able to clean house, and this happened multiple times throughout the entire game. LNG, again, trying to force a hard Baron take. Vici Gaming just calling them out on it, and this was the moment where we thought it was all over. They get the Baron, they go into this fight, but watch how the cooldowns go down for Vici Gaming right here. We see the Devour already being used. We saw Braum get a concussive blow, and that was the go-ahead signal. Asura goes in, 1v3's the top side. Cube actually goes the wrong direction. He goes forward as Asura then trades place with him and goes into the backline. So not taking a lot of the Vladimir damage, taking out Puff in an instant, and he is able to claw that game all the way back for LNG.
And I think that's the word, a really good term to use, claw. They were hanging off. It was the Lion King scene, except it was a slightly alternative universe where like Vici says, "Long live the king," and then he just grabs his paw and chucks him down. It's just like, you know, it didn't look. Yeah, the reverse was like, why? But again, like that is you know, something that Vici can obviously look in that game and say, right, we should have backed away. You mentioned just before that fight, there was a top lane pushing in. They had a lot of pressure. All they had to do was take it maybe 30, 60 seconds slower, and they win that game anyway.
Yeah, that was Vici's decision-making at work right there.
Very young team, though.
They haven't found a lot of situations where they're ahead that much and pushing into someone else's base.
I was going to say, they probably got a bit ahead of steam, and they're like, guys, we can do this. And they're like, what? It's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And, you know, like the inexperience, it's a very relatively young roster. It's not, you know, the most experienced names in there, but you know, again, this is development. This is good to see from Vici, but again, I feel like I'm the harbinger of terrible, terrible news right now because LNG, I'm just like, for a playoffs team, this just looks terrible.
That's the bar we're holding them to.
Yeah.
I think that's the key point here. Does this satisfy our expectations for an LPL playoff team? Not really.
You start like looking at that game and going, yeah, LNG are a playoff team along the same sides of Suning, Billy Gaming, FBX, like these are the kind of teams they're going to be facing, and it's just kind of like, that's not good enough.
And the main reason we're saying that this is just like all out of sorts for LNG is their fight selection seems very, very off. That's the main problem I saw in that game. The early game was fine. You know, Febfen had a couple of great ones there, but their continual insistence on forcing Baron when they have side lane advantage, when they have rotational advantages, really didn't make much sense, and it seemed like they were creating death traps for themselves, and this is consistently what we've been seeing throughout LNG's kind of like post 9.14 career, is that they don't have a great sense of where and how to get their team fights going. And I just wish that they would have more clarity, more discipline in sticking to silence and sticking to like Flande 131s when they actually have that on the cards. Kiana is not going to challenge the Silas whatsoever. The Vladimir was actually behind that game before these team fights started, and you had a Kai'Sa that could follow up onto any of these side lanes. You know, DMO has been a great kind of example on how to play a Kai'Sa when you have a split pushing lane. You just fly her to one of these lanes and then just choke out the enemy side laner. So there's a lot more creativity to be used in these toolboxes that LNG has selected for themselves. they're just throwing away all these tools. They're just saying, you know, I have this rock. I'm going to use this.
Literally, it's like we have 3 teleports. They're all up. So let's team fight. And it's just like, why not use those teleport advantages to your advantage?
You know what it reminds me of? Scary movie. You know, you have a knife, a gun, a grenade, and then a banana, and you always take the banana. It's like,
give me that.
Banana peel's a great weapon. It's like, no.
Isn't that literally like how the movie goes? That movie's a long time ago, so sorry if spoilers, but isn't that literally how they get the killer? Or the quote-unquote killer in that movie?
Damn, you didn't have to.
Yeah.
What are you doing? We're on broadcast. There's a whole generation of people that didn't watch early 90s horror flicks.
That movie is quite literally 20 years old. Like, I'm sorry. If that was a spoiler for you, like, sorry. Like, there's no way that could be a spoiler. It's like when someone turns around and goes, like, you know, you spoiled, like, The Shining. It's just like, I'm sorry. It's just it's a really old movie. It's not as if, like, I just dropped, like, Endgame spoilers or anything.
Generation Z.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for you guys.
I'm not even that much younger than you. Yeah,
That's true. Though.
I'm
We're not going to talk about our
literally,
age. It's really sad as you see these like 17-year-olds taking over the world, and you're like, it's not my time anymore.
Yeah. But speaking about whose time it is, it's time for LNG to try and fix up what they had. And LNG, even if this is a 2-0, if they take the same game in that one, everyone's going to be wringing their hands together, looking at them in playoffs, going, "Oh yes, we are not afraid."
I'm actually quite surprised by Kenzu's facial expressions. He looks very happy with that one. It's like, win's a win. We got that one.
A W is a W, but for the side of Vici, they do have a substitution. I mean, told their top laner being subbed out.
It is the end of the split, and even though Cube had a pretty decent game, I feel like it's okay for, you know, Ikes to have a bit more time in the spotlight as well. There's a bit of a difference between their champion pools. We have seen Ikes, they're not Ikes, excuse me.
I was going to say, I was like, you must know something that I don't, because the Ikes is going up towards the top side. But, you know, for Vici, like you said, it's good to experiment. It's good for them to be able to kind of move their roster around, see what fits better for them, see what's able to move. And you see there now.
Yep, Chelizi means a cherry in Mandarin.
Chelizi.
Yep.
That's going to be fantastic for me to try and say very quickly.
Yeah, we haven't seen him for a while, but he did play the majority of the games in this split, actually, and much more of a side lane split pusher. So I think his style does work better against the likes of Flande. We have to credit Flande with his laning phase. Actually had a great freeze. Just went up straight 20 CS against losing no CS in that stretch. So we should be expecting more of the Jaxes, more of the Renekton's, that type of a style from Chelizi.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. And as you said, like, you know, for Vici, they're not in playoffs. There's no way they can make playoffs. So right now, we talked about it before, it's all development. So yes, even though Cube had a fantastic game, it's still okay to be able to, you know, kind of mix and match and see what able works with them. And we'll see exactly what way they want to go for. Like I say, stylistically, more of a split pusher. And I want to see that come out in this draft for Vici.
Does look like LNG themselves are going to be sticking towards the blue side. Did has a Sylas first pick last time, actually the first Sylas for Flande. So I think that is going to be weighing heavily on Vici's minds. Maybe they try to take it away. You know, if it was me, I would prefer giving the Karma over to LNG rather than having them take it.
Yeah, they're going to go with the exact same ones, and Flande, I'm probably going to be feeling confident going with the Sylas pick again. So far, nothing changes for either side, but now what do Vici Gaming want to prioritize in their first rotations?
Now, we did see the Tahm Kench play a very critical role here, and I still think Tahm Kench is worth snagging in these first rotation. It is something that LNG love as well.
And so far, if this Ragus is locked in, we are seeing a 100% identical, just seeing a rerun of the first game, realistically, with the scores changed. Yep, literally the rerun of the first game with the scores. Yeah. Vici, honestly, I actually have no problem with this because they should have won that first game. It's just a little bit of impatience, a little bit of, you know, overzealousness and made them lose. And honestly, like, if we get the exact same draft, which I highly doubt we will, can happen, but if we do, I don't think Vici are going to be upset about that.
Yeah, I mean, this time they also know who's going to be on the top side, so they're not going to be surprised by another Sylas top lane, and LNG are the ones that pull the trigger on the change. We are going to see Sylas most likely going into the jungle instead. I
was just going to say, it looks like SofM going to be taking up that Sylas. Is Renekton going to be going to the top side, or maybe a Renekton mid for Febfen? We'll have to wait and see exactly where that lands, because that's going to... All solo laners at the top side is secured for LNG. Looks like it's going to be equaled out here by Vici. We have seen Corki flex into the bot side every now and again as well.
More likely the top side, mainly still sticking into the solo lanes, who are an AP damage dealing champion and very item hungry, so most likely
Requires a lot of gold.
yes, requires a lot of gold in the XP.
I think it's like old Kale before Kale got nerfed into the ground. It's like you had the Korean build, which was like the most expensive items in the game. It was like, I need to get everything that's costing me over 3,500 gold.
Give me my Triforce,
yeah,
you know, that was
like
that was an insane build, and that's why it did not show up in that form during competitive play.
It did in Korea. It definitely did in Korea. They definitely flavored it over others, and we see support's now going to be favorited in the bans in the second phase. Alistar Nautilus taken away again by Vici. So Vici kept the same bans. They're happy enough keeping it. As I said, they're going to be very happy with that either way. The Vladimir is a denial by LNG, but it is not Cube in that top side at this time around.
And we have to mention that this Vladimir has been one of Flandre's best champions as well. We always call LNG the flank and shank team, and Vladimir is perfect for that. Plenty of kill potential, goes around to the back line, make things work. However, we have not seen what Febfen play, so this is a big advantage of bringing in someone new this late into the split. We just have no clue what type of champion that he's been practicing.
Now, I'm very curious to see what Duan picks up if he goes for the Lux into this lane. As we've seen, almost every standard tank into tank matchup has been taken off the board. The Braum is going to be prioritized by Vici, as 4 bans did go into the support role, but Nautilus, Alistar, Tam, Kent, and Yuumi all taken away. Maybe a Volibear. You never know. But Kalista has been banned, so probably not a great idea.
I was thinking about if it was possible to run a Kai'Sa Volibear, because I think LNG still needs that.
I was going to say, I think it's possible. I don't think it's advisable.
Yes. It's like, Kai'Sa's like, I'm kind of alone here. What do I do after your cheese fails? Yeah. Nothing. Xayah Rakan looks like it's on the cards.
Yep, the Rakan locked in, potentially a Xayah. Not something that Asura is prolific on, hasn't played a huge amount of it, but Asura definitely someone who hasn't shied away from it and will have the extra little bit of ranges for protection, but played it well in the first game, going to be able to play it just as well in the second. You would imagine the Kai'Sa locked in for Asura.
And that leaves open a lot of options here for Vici. The Varus is something they love. The Xayah is still going to give them lane priority. I think that one's a fair one.
You pick up the Xayah, you go with the Xayah Braum, you got a bit of kill potential, but I also like the fact that they've gone with a bit more kind of turret pressure now with their team. You've got the Corki now, you've got the Xayah, if it is locked in, yes it is. Yep. You've got a lot more turret pressure with this team, and I think that was something they lacked in the early game in the last one, just not being able to take those down, those like, you know, 200 HP turrets, just a little bit more, a little bit faster.
Vici was basically a full skirmish team last time around. This time they're packing in a little bit more range, a little bit more poke. I like the Xayah pick here over the likes of like Ashe and Varus. Is a bit safer when you're looking at the opponent team of 3 divers, probably 4 divers actually. LNG have a very powerful, just kind of kill whoever's in the back line, teamfight nuke type of style.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a lot of pressure here onto the Kragus to get those explosive casts out and to separate the divers away from his carries, but a lot of disengage available for the side of Vici, and LNG, they trade up a little bit. They've got the Renekton mid. And I'm curious to see how this does into the Qiyana. Not something I'm very familiar with myself, but excited to see how this matchup goes.
I think he's going to have a fairly easy time here. It's going to be very difficult for Qiyana to pull out a level 3 or level 6 kill, which is the typical kind of Qiyana type of move. We've seen a lot of players just do that. She has amazing burst damage, especially if you just preemptively picked up a river element, get that stun down, and then terra shape again and get the execute with terrain. So I think Renekton's a fair matchup. It's going to push the Qiyana in and not allow her to snowball, so it's going to come down to the jungler from Vici Gaming. Ike's is going to have to put in some extra work to keep Jape going.
That was a very quick pick ban as well.
Yeah.
Both teams very happy with what they got. We'll have to wait and see if they are able to turn the result. Vici looking to redeem themselves after that throw. It's the only way you can really put it of a first game, and LNG looking to secure a 2-0, get themselves secured into playoffs, because right now they're only 1 game ahead of Team WE. A lot of pressures on them to start picking up wins.
JD Gaming also nipping at their heels, so here we go. Can JD Gaming make it? Can LNG make it?
No, you've already said it. Your bias is there now. Bias is confirmed. Can JD Gaming make it later in the game? They are, of course, playing later today against LGD. We'll have to wait and see. But overall, curious to see how Febfen does with this Renekton mid. Much better from Vici last time. They got a bit of hope about them. They know they lost the first game, but they knew it was damn close. They could be loud and proud.
They're in the home arena for another team.
Yes.
I think game 2 is when you hear the loudest chants, because people are like, you know what? We can chant for Vici this time. If it goes to a game 3, I got my money's worth. But in game 3, I expect, if it does go to game 3, I expect full chance to go back onto LNG.
And LGD, of course.
For sure. They have spies in every single arena.
I wouldn't call them spies. I think they're just supporters, but see exactly where this Gragas goes now as well. We actually see defensive vision set up here by the side of LNG. Got themselves some deepen their own jungle wards, making sure they can catch out any kind of late invade if there was to have one, and try and catch out this Gragas. And they did very well, I must admit, in the first game to try and just make sure they knew exactly where this Gragas was going at all times.
Yeah, and all stemmed a lot from LNG's level 1 play. They did get deep vision last time. This time it's going to be evenly dark on both sides of the map. Taking a look at the Keystone runes here. A lot less inspiration. And pretty standard overall. We are going to see press the attack on Asura over the Fleet Footwork build.
I like that from Febfen, actually. Ooh, double knock-up. Might have to hold my point as Puff takes a big chunk of damage onto him. Finally getting the level 2 there for the Vici bot lane. Good aggression there from LNG, feeling like they had the advantage and went for it.
Yeah, this lane is much more of a kill lane for LNG in the bot side. Whenever you see the Rakan start with, you know, the Ignite, start with the Spell Feast Edge, it just does so much damage earlier on. And we have seen RNG play this lane before where they just hide in the brush level 1 and instantly just force out a flash.
Fleet footwork there onto the Sylas as well. We can see LNG just looking to try and catch out this Gragas, who's forced to use his smite on the blue buff. Will be able to secure his own camp though, and knowing that his bot lane has no pressure, nor does his mid, he's going to escort himself back topside.
Fleet footwork is a bit peculiar for for SofM. This is one of his, like, he really likes fleet footworks on junglers that don't usually take it. We've seen it on Trundle as well, where he's just like, I'm going to go fleet footwork.
It's a very strange one, I got to admit. Not something that I anticipate a jungle Sylas taking.
Originally thought that, hey, maybe it was just for like the speed up during ganks. You know, you bite someone, you get a bit of a speed boost, but it really isn't that much. It doesn't last that long. If you want a speed boost, you're actually much better.
Gives you good sustain.
True. In the jungle, it does work on minions.
With the changes that were made to Sylas, so, you know, maybe it is purely a kind of to shore up some nerfs that were given to him for jungle Sylas to make him a little bit more proficient in that jungle position. Never know. We'll have to ask the man himself. And unfortunately, we are nowhere near him at the moment.
It's like, maybe I get to walk around the jungle faster.
I mean, that is a part of it. Definitely something that is part of that situation. Asura, another double knock up there from Duan, able to keep his Kai'Sa safe. And I like that from Duan, able to know that he has the kill potential. And even if he goes in solo with his AD carry backing away, is still very, very scary.
Early game is when you have to pick on the Renekton, level 4. Doesn't have the Empowered Rage, but they already used the stun, so probably just a counter gank here for Qiyana as the wave pushes out.
Yeah, good jungle sense there from side of Vici, realizing that they were going to have to push in that lane, giving an easy back here for Jay to get those Moby boots, and that means they were there, just there, as you say, for the counter gank, making sure that nothing crazy happened just in case they pushed a little too far. Yeah,
but this is a good position for Febfen. I really like how he held the wave there, you know, just walking sideways into the brush and freezing it right in front of River. Ooh, this is going to require some additional attention from Ike's to solve.
Maybe, but the Moby Boots means that it's not exactly the fastest or slowest of returns for the Qiyana, so we'll have to see exactly how that turns in. And right now, it looks like LNG finally feeling good in this bot side, able to pick up a small CS lead. Like you said, good freeze here from the LNG substitute mid laner as he's able to force that one to be forcing Jay to be pushed up a lot further up than he wants to be. You know, Febfen, gonna see a 2v2 in this mid lane. Ike's just there, but just able to keep something away, and both junglers just posturing, making sure nothing happens.
This is hard forcing the 2v2 from Febfen, so really well done. The only answer I see Vici really having here is trying to roam someone else from other lanes. Currently they have Corki here, but this is not a 2v2 they win.
This is maybe not 2v2 a win, as they're going to get the stun there onto SofM, who gets ignited down. Maybe they're going to be able to pick him up as he has no extra healing. First blood, flash for flash, as the Gragas runs away. They're trying to get the stun. Nicely done. And that's going to be Duan chasing up as well. Jay is there. He flashes away. Just get a little dash. And that means that this Kai'Sa is left all on her lonesome. Disaster for LNG.
Oh my god, Jay outplayed the heck out of that. So Vici Gaming definitely knew what the situation was. Hard 2v2 force, but they managed to split it apart. They managed to have Jay go up against SofM, where he does have that level advantage, that ult advantage. And watch when he ticks 6. Wow, that was so well timed. He walks into the brush, gets the engage, just ticking over to 6. SofM did not expect it. They win out on the mid lane. And they went out on the bot side as well.
Oh, and the flash by Asura as well. Unfortunate there from LNG, and you would almost say that it was fine. It would have been a mistake from Asura, but I just don't think he realized. As soon as, you know, Rakan was seen on the map, this Vici were just go, get him. We know we can take this kill, and they were right.
Yeah, double flashes expended, no hesitation whatsoever. And LNG, once again, they find this early game where they're outplayed across the board. Honestly, that was a good setup for LNG. Like, having that freeze there, having the Renekton with the level 6 lead, it should have led to greater things. It should have been a situation where you just hold on to that. Qiyana's going to be hard forced to roam, or else she's going to get nothing in lane. But Jay just outplayed.
And we got to say, different mid lane for LNG, same issues for LNG. As we see explosive cast stolen there by SofM, he's looking for something, does not find the abduct. Predator has been popped, and this is going to be used to get the fat man out of there. But again, actually they may look for a re-engage on top of this. Predator is still procced up though, so they know he's still around. They know he didn't fully disengage, and good jungle sense there from SofM.
Yeah, they actually did catch him on the pixel ward as he walked across the pit. Just as the ward goes down, so, you know, good deduction coming in from SofM.
We talked about, like, you know, is the change in jungler going to be able, or the change in mid laner, excuse me, going to be able to help out LNG in this early game? And so far, that might as well have been Plex, because Febfen looked the exact same as he did versus, as Plex did in these early games. And it just, I don't know, it just feels like SofM is kind of either not communicating correctly or just taking fights that he just can't take.
Yeah, that was definitely an SofM issue. He didn't expect the level 6 to come in there, and the pint didn't really happen. He's also wasting a lot of time in this lane.
Yeah, and Gragas has now found himself in an equal position to be able to answer this potential gank, and SofM now going to finally realize that he's there. Ward is now going to be caught up with this. They have seen an abduct. They're going to be able to try and catch him out. There is an explosive cast, not going to hit, but Duan picks up a kill, and they're able to pick up Asura on the backside. Qiyana's the first one to rotate. Vici have all the answers, and LNG are left stumped.
It was a good start.
And that's all we can say, as Jay now coming back into the bot side. They want to dive this, and they can. They've got double buffs on Jay. He's got Moby boots. He's going to be so fast. He's just going to look to try and put down some damage. And unfortunately for LNG, even that one kill they got, it went over to the Rakan. Yeah,
not a favorable kill distribution here. Febfen's going to at least get 2 turret platings. And just getting back some advantage. But Vici had the better calculation on that fight, and once Duan hard committed for the kill, Asura kind of had no cards to play. He was just left to the wolves.
Oh, actually 2 turret hits there. Febfen down to about half HP. Gragas is up to the top side. No real vision there for the side of LNG. Febfen realizing that he probably cannot take this double buff. Qiyana, and let's see how that fight started. Because you can see it looks like the side of, you know, Vici are caught, and it's just, they just catch him out so quickly.
It was definitely an unexpected catch coming in from Vici's side, being caught out like that. But Asura, look at his positioning. There's just nothing to be done for him. And Jay with the Moby boots. just has such a faster time. He also has that buff from being near elements of her choice as well, so no way you can really outpace the Qiyana coming towards the bot lane. And it's just these differences in calculations that LNG always seems to be lacking.
Yeah, and LNG not in a position to contest or try and contest for this Rift Herald. They may try and just trade for the Dragon. Need to be careful though, because the Rift Herald's already gone down. And now, I actually don't even think they can take that right now because they're not in a position to trade those two objectives.
Vici, as long as they don't face check, should be fine. And as soon as I say that.
That's a long-ass range for that. Oh, as I say, the face check comes in. There's the Recon quickness. They're going to commit the Killer Instinct as well, but there's a good ultimate. Supreme display of talent. They're trying to just get out Soutwind to get the glass cone over the wall. Soutwind will go down. Flash committed there by Duan as well. As here's Puff on the backside of this. He needs to be careful as well. They've got damage, but have they got an escape plan? Jay going to have to force himself over this wall. They lose one. They lose two. LNG finding some good picks. They will be able to get the Dragon off this as well.
Well, Vici, same as always. Walking into river, face checking as they always do.
Oh, actually, Duan, I didn't actually see that. He might have went down there, but as I said, face checking, and unfortunately just too much damn burst.
You already have the Herald. I don't think that was necessary to take such an unsafe route over, and even though Jay gets a good stun, it's not enough to stop the amount of damage. Also, Blast Cone does work in favor of Febfen as he gets over the wall and puts on even more hurt to the rest of the team.
Duan was actually forced back. Dragon didn't go down as of yet, so it's only 2 kills. There's the Rift Herald going to be propped towards the bot side. Dragon will be started here as well by Vici. They're looking to hit on 2 fronts, but SofM is around. He did drop a ward into that Dragon pit as well. They're looking like they're just going to try and stop this Rift Herald, who's taken very, very far away. I don't think the side of LNG can stop this realistically. They're going to have to back away.
And Qiyana's also coming through the river. She is getting shadowed by Febfen, but Qiyana's going to arrive on the scene a bit earlier. LNG, like you were mentioning, do back out.
And looks like Febfen back to the lane a little bit quicker. Has got his Spirit of Shojin finished up right now. Jay is sitting literally directly on a ward. And not able to get anything else from that. Looks like the call is going to be securing this Mountain Drake with nothing on the top side either for the side of LNG. Even though they have got themselves a little bit of a CS lead, as Vici Gaming did rotate the top laner to that mid lane to try and make sure that that didn't get pushed out as that fight went down and bot.
Febfen's coming back onto the map with a lot of gold in his pockets. Almost has the IE complete, and they are going to go for a straight back into potential Drake contest.
Oh, they gotta be careful though. Qiyana has gone back. We'll have Mobies. Just want to get that Dust Blade of Drakkar before anything goes down. And now, side of LNG have priority, but do they want to take this fight? I would say the answer right now is no. They don't have perfect vision as to where everyone is as of this moment in time. Febfen does have the Spear of Shojin though, and they have got the Storm Razor's Edge on top of Asura's Kaiser. There's the TP being committed there from Flande. There's a TP answer potential available to the Corki, who's going to be able to pick up his package. Actually, no, he's just going to go straight up topside. He doesn't even need to join his team as of right now. And it looks like LNG are hard forcing this.
Now that was a very peculiar teleport, just announcing what was on the itinerary for LNG. Takes a lot of damage though. I don't think they can take it anymore.
Oh, they're actually looking for a pick, as they're going to jump straight onto the Gragas. If they can kill him straight away, they will be able to get him and the Dragon. They will not get him though. And that's a flash, teleport, and a Hemoplague invested, and Corki's still up topside, and this is just over-committal, over-forcing from LNG. It's just not working out.
Yeah, I love Vici's response here. They're very calm and collected. They know they have the teleports. The side lanes are in a good position, and LNG, they lost too much HP with that Flande teleport. That teleport was not necessary. He had to blow the pool earlier on as well. The entire team, a lot of them were down to just 3/4 HP, and they felt the pressure to get a pick, and Vici read that. They didn't walk into the brushes blindly like before.
And this is a big issue now for LNG, because they've given up pressure on the bot side, which means there is pressure towards the top. However, it's Corki maybe going a little bit too hard, too fast. He is going to be able to take a lot of damage down onto Foundry. They are going to get the quickness down as well as the knock-up, but flash was used. I actually feel like Foundry might have died there. Had no flash available to him. Maybe he had the pool just about to keep him alive, but No real committal coming out from the Cork. He does burn his flash, but teleport's still available. But now knowing there's two people on the top side means that that dragon is almost certainly going over the side of Vici.
It was also a huge ultimate blown in the top. And just the quickness used this earlier on. LNG have to hard force once again.
I don't think they can, though. Looks like they're going to try and just trade for this turret, but is it really worth it? I don't really know. It just seems like they're kind of panicking right now. These look like desperation moves from the side of LNG.
They definitely are, and this is a far superior trade for Vici. They're still going to be able to pick up a lot of the minions here. LNG is going to have to take down this tower, and on the bottom side, you could see that Renekton and Febfen actually being forced away from the wave. Potential Gragas Kank on the bottom, so he needs to play super careful.
As well as Asura. Asura does not know where anybody is from that bot side of the map. No real vision. You can see Vici just posturing themselves right now. They know they can go on top of this tower. SofM is here. Stolen Glacial Fissure means they have got a little bit of disengage. Febfen is hovering off to the side as well. Vici Gaming realizing they haven't got the element of surprise anymore, backing away, but they trade turret for turret effectively in the top side. And Vici Gaming now crawling their way to an early gold lead, up to about 17 minutes, and they got themselves a 1,000 gold lead and pressure in this mid lane. They've also got that Drake to their name as well, and I can't call it anything else other than panic from the side of LNG. They just don't really know what to do.
This is so good from Vici. It's just calm, collected play. You know, there's someone posturing aggressively for an objective, but you understand that they can't take it without you having a say in it, so you just hold on to your teleports, go back to your lanes. Very good play from a young team like this one. And all of this has just been macro advantage here. They've just been calling LNG's bluff over and over again and saying, you know what, you're not going to be able to get anything with this hard force. It takes a lot of calculations to do that.
And I like the way you said it earlier, Vici not panicking around that dragon, not really going for the hard forces or anything like that. As we see now, Flande in a little bit of trouble, will get his Hemo Plague out just as the Ignite comes down as well, trying to use his Phase Rush, but here comes the Predator. The Fat Man is here, no flash available. Good explosive cast into the wall, good night, Sweet Prince.
Yeah, straight over the wall, great catching potential. This is what I want to see more out of Vici, just playing the side lanes correctly, knowing what they have in their kill combo potential. It's so important here.
And I like that they're just making the more proactive move against LNG. LNG moved to the bot side, Vici are like, it's fine, we took the dragon. There's no real reason for us to defend that. We're looking for mid, and we're going to get a top lane, kill as well. So yes, it's only a kill for a turret, but now you have mid lane pressure. Vici just making all the right calls, and if you open up this mid lane, it just opens up so many more avenues.
Things looking a bit more dire for LNG at times. Time slowly passes by. I don't think that the Renekton mid is going to have the same impact later in the game, and so far LNG have not been able to find a convincing engage outside of that two-man catch they had earlier. So if Vici are willing to just spread this through and play just kind of like the kill combo with Qiyana, I think it's a great answer to shutting down Flande, great answer from shutting down Febfen.
Look at those wars on the top side. There is just so much damn vision for the side of Vici. There is nothing apart from that one war that just went down for Flande, and that's only on one little section of this entire map. And Vici, they've got their sights set on this top side. It looks like they're going to try and engage onto him again. Flash is available for Flande, but I don't know if he can really go anywhere. They're going to commit a teleport, but he's just deleted. And another teleport burned by LNG. This honestly just, I don't know what else to say. They're just looking like Vici look like they should be able to take this game pretty handily.
They've been the superior team for 90% of the game time right now, and that was just clean. It was so well done. Very easy, full combo down on it. No time in between for the pull to be used, no time for the flash to be used, and they can run that play over and over again. It really has to come down to LNG to coordinate themselves and push out that vision on their top side. They can't have these side lanes extending so far beyond their vision points. Look at Jay. He was in that brush for 30 seconds or something, just waiting for the perfect timing, and once again, Flande overextends.
boom, clap, run that back. That is all Vici need right now, as they can keep going towards it. And when your Vladimir can't go into a side lane, these TP advantages that you have for yourselves just don't mean anything right now, because anyone can go and just deal with that. You have got the Moby boots as well for your Qiyana, who can deal with this as they go straight onto Duan. A lot of damage onto him, and they're just posturing for this dragon. I don't think LNG can really contest this. It would be suicide.
Yeah, definitely not. LNG, I'm looking at the positions on their map. There's no flanking wards. They have to walk through the ramps against the Gragas and Jay. That's going to be a death sentence if they do so blind. And Vici using this time to pull them between two objectives, getting the mid first, and they still have the Drake play up.
To get the mid lane, they're also going to be able to pick up this dragon as well, you would imagine. But LNG, they've got to find something, because the longer this game goes on, the further and further behind they will become. Vici going to start this in plain sight. As you can see, that scuttle vision is there. It's just not perfect vision at all for the side of LNG. And now the exit strategy comes in. They back themselves away. Vici, they don't even need to fight. The fact that they put down enough poke, they get the mid lane turret, they get the dragon, they get everything.
Yeah, I just love the way that they're actually playing this. Their positioning has been so calm and collected, hiding the majority of their members inside that river right side brush. And once LNG overextend over to the ramp, they instantly swap around and just take the tower. So it was really smart play, playing around vision and understanding that the greatest part about you not being seen when you clear out vision with your control wards is LNG has to assume that you're in both places at the same time. So you get to choose where to strike. They do a great 1-2 step. They completely break the ankles of LNG. And I think they're going to allow Qiyana to have a lot more split push pressure than we usually see. This is a champion that typically finds herself in an awkward spot after the mid game, because she can't really take on the big bad bruisers we see from the top side.
Yeah, but no real armor being built by anybody at this stage of the game, as you can see from the side of LNG. Of course, we see very respected, very, kind of respectful items being picked up by Vici. They've got themselves the Hex Drinker on top side, the Zhonya's in the jungle. They've got a lot of things to be able to lay and kind of like drag out fights for, what they potentially see as, LNG's only real opportunities to come back into this game.
And this is going to have to be an LNG fight where they are forced to take, essentially. The entire river section is going to be warded up. Vici Gaming, they don't have good tanking power here, so LNG can take this relatively slow.
Oh, SofM needs to be very, very careful. You are living in river right now, and Jay has got so many opportunities to get those river elements and pick up some quick stuns and catches potentially. But like you said, no real vision. They have the only good thing right now that's stopping this Baron from being fully taken right now is the fact that there is that scuttle down, but stolen Qiyana ultimate. But this is the real deal coming in. They're going to force everything in the package as well. LNG have nowhere to go, and that's going to be everyone trying to flash away. Valkyries are there though. Febfen, he's going to get just about get out as the Hemo Plague just keeps everyone away, but Vici take the fight, and they're going to take Baron as well.
This is unfortunately the worst case scenario for LNG. I don't think Vici really wanted to start that Baron whatsoever. They don't really have a tank on the team. It's going to be hard for them to take it. Not a lot of HP percent damage. So they were just baiting the entire time from LNG. And LNG, I think their critical weakness here was they actually didn't have vision across the ramp. Jay was able to find such a good opening point. He sees SofM use up his own ultimate, and he's like, you know what, imposter? Here's the real one. Get a taste of the real
You
deal.
call that a supreme display of talent? This is a supreme display of talent. And this is, Vici just looking great, honestly, transitioning a relatively decent early game into a relatively decent mid game. You can see, like you said, they just had no vision.
Yeah, I like the idea of like sending someone and kind of checking for it, but Jay really outplayed the situation with his Dust Blade. He knew that there were, hey, I'm not being spotted. Your Dust Blade saying that, there are no wards here. I don't need to clear out anything. Just comes in a great angle, triple man stun, and with the concussive blows, everyone's down.
Ooh, good move, but flash body slam means that Duan is dead. Febfen pops the dominance, but it's going to be golden from the Gragas here. They might try and just turn this one around, but they've got so many heals, so many ways to keep him alive. They will eventually lose him, but everyone now here on the side of Vici, they may look just for the full fight. Flande has no way of escaping this, has got his flash. Everyone just chasing, pushing, looking for more. LNG cannot defend this tier 2 turret.
But it was a good find from LNG. I love the way Flande played that, knowing his limits so well, holding on to the flash after he got the kill.
What's SofM doing? Why is he taking Raptors? SofM just kind of doesn't go back with his team, which means they crack open the base without any real defense. He's now on the back side of this, but I don't think he wants this. He does not want this at all. SofM, why? Why?
Maybe an item build? He's like, I really need the 60 gold. Did he actually take Raptors?
He took Raptors.
Okay.
He went up the river, or up the bush, and took Raptors. I don't understand that at all. Now they're at a 4v5 disadvantage. Bot lane has been broken open. You have a Corki with Triforce and Baron buff pushing up mid lane. Vici can take everything they want. They're going to try and hard force this onto the Corki. They will get it. Flash was burned by Asura. Good pick off from them. But can they defend mid?
I think they will be able to force Vici to back off. Losing that top laner against the support, against the jungler, never a great idea here. And they will still be able to secure an Infernal Drake off the retreat. And the funny thing is, SofM actually doesn't come out the base with anything substantial. I thought he might have been sitting on a giant buy.
No.
Not really the case.
No, unfortunately not. And LNG survived. They don't lose too much. They were able to capitalize on the Corki's overextending a little bit too hard onto that bot lane inhibitor. So good work there from Asura and Flande, the two shining lights of this team so far in this series. But SofM, for shame, did not need to go for that at all. And you know, it could have been a lot less. It could have been a lot less for the side of Vici, but
it's a bit too ambitious.
I'm very tilted. I'm very tilted, if you can't tell.
I can tell.
I'm just so, it was just so unnecessary of a
You literally
risk.
cannot sit straight in your chair
No,
anymore.
I'm swiveling. I'm swiveling so hard because I'm just like, that's just irks me. I'm a jungle main as well, and that kind of stuff just like, no, stay with your damn team. Doesn't matter how much you think you need that extra 60 gold or, you know, bit of experience. It doesn't matter. But bring it back in. LNG, they did not lose the inhibitor, which is the important thing for them. Vici, however, did gain pure vision control on the bottom side. You can see they are just posturing with that advantage, able to push up, get Jay and the Gragas into nice positions here to maybe look for a flank as they push up for more and more into that bot side.
Yeah, it does look like Vici are just trying to control this pathway, cut off LNG when they're heading towards the bottom. But LNG have been playing it really safe. Great control wards over the wall, and they're going to be able to hold on to just the transition period between mid and bottom. I don't think they're going to be able to come out whatsoever.
I think they're kind of stuck between their walls of their base right now. Is only real relative safety, no real objective to be taken, so they're not too unhappy with this trade. You know, just kind of trading farm on carries as pressure does go in favor of Vici. But as soon as that Baron spawns with no real vision, and that Scuttle Crab vision gonna just unspawn itself. And now the side of Vici looks for that last outer turret in that top side, able to take out all the easy objectives. I doubt we'll see LNG fight here.
Nope, especially not with Flande, their most fed member, I would say 300 and the only person, actually 308 CS on him. And very similar to the level of CSing Puff has been having. LNG are basically hoping Flande is going to hard carry them.
Yeah, they need a massive Hemo Plague with a Tides of Blood, like onto the back line of everyone on Vici, and they need to try and just keep them together. That's the big thing. If they can keep them all in one particular spot, LNG have a chance with the dominance, with the, you know, percentage and AoE damage you've got with a lot of your, you know, champions that you've built with this composition. The problem is, I don't think Vici are going to give it to them.
Oh, definitely not. Vici don't have a need to venture that far into the jungle once this Baron comes up. We have seen disaster strike LNG when they were fighting over this territory, so they need a lot more wards than they're currently holding. Only 3 in the inventory so far. We're going to see Duan back up and just stock up again once more on those control wards. It's going to be hard to contest this area, though. Like, they are going to have to use their trinkets. They have those saved up. I would be very cautious into walking into this river.
I'm going to try and see if they can catch someone, though, from the side of Vici. No, as you said, only 2 real free ways of checking. One goes down onto the back of Baron Pits. They know it's not being done. Vision still being cleared from Vici. haven't got priority in bot lane, but have it in top, so they're just going to let that one push in.
I think they do spot Jay. They know where Jay is. That's a good thing for them. They could potentially turn the flank.
And now they know that the Baron is looking to be started. This will be melted down as well by Vici, who have picked up that Mountain Drake. They will start it up, gets down to about 2/3 HP. Vici, as he said, they don't have a huge pool of health. They don't want to get poked out. They don't want to commit too hard to this Baron. Would much prefer to poke out the health bars of LNG, and this is fine for LNG. They know that the bluff has not been called as of yet. Jay, though, is still in a position of power to be able to catch somebody out. And now all 3 lanes going to be in favor of Vici as they all have minions pushing out.
LNG have a good engage here.
Another position, no ward on Jay this time. This looks very similar to the last one as Jay comes in, does not hit the ult onto anyone of importance. That's going to be a big cooldown down. SofM had to throw away the explosive cast as it was running out. And they back away. LNG survive for now.
And so far so good for LNG. You gotta love the way they played that, just pushing up mid and then retreating back into their vision control.
Oh!
Febfen, where did he go?
Febfen didn't see the Gragas going down. He tries to flash away and gets completely caught there. Is the redemption going to be used to catch out? And Flande, or sorry, he's not Flande, it's SofM who gets caught out as well as Flande. And this team fight has just gone awry. This team fight's just gone completely wrong. Vici just dismantle LNG.
They very could just finish the game right here. A hard press. A full team white, 30 seconds on everyone, and let's see if they can do it. It's actually going to be a lot closer than expected. Febfen already coming up.
Yeah, Febfen going to have about 10 seconds, but I think they've got the death timers, I think they've got the minions, and I think they've got the damage. We talked about this in draft here. They have much more turret pressure with this Corki pickup, and it's going to be going to a game 3 as Vici redeem themselves for that game 1 throw and send us to a 3rd game.
Wasn't necessary for Febfen to go and secure that Mountain Drake. They were already beaten anyway, and that was a complete vision no-go zone for LNG. Unfortunately, walking in, not even the flash nor the perfect time you could save them, and a full team ace. Pretty much the worst situation that you could experience on League of Legends. And VG Gaming this time around, they show a lot more restraint. They showed a very strong early game and an ability to call LNG bluffs, not going with the pressure, not going with the hard force, and LNG looks all out of sorts.
And I think as well, like you said, we focus on Vici positives. They swap out their top laner, give him more split push pressure, make sure Flande doesn't get the opportunities that he got in that first game. I just, you know, again, I want to try to stay on the positives of Vici because it's very easy to just, you know, to kind of hit on the negatives, but SofM, honestly, didn't do anything that game. And I want to say anything because he got caught out. There was many times where he was trying to set up for a gank. He spent a good 45 seconds sitting bot side. Yes, he got a kill, but by the time it happened, they had only made it from a 3v2 to a 3v3. And then, I don't know, I don't see the benefit in that.
There's just no communication. I
don't
think
it's a Korean versus Mandarin Chinese. I think it's just a mid laner and jungler ain't talking. I just don't think they're speaking to each other.
There are multiple instances where you see that the games were never really going to work. When he went to bot lane, there was 2 wars in a bot side brush and no sweepers. And I'm like, well, what do you expect? Yeah. He's just standing there. They did find the catch, but Kiana able to clean that one up completely. So I just think we're seeing the LNG saga continue. They haven't won a series ever since the new patch hit, and gone are the days where we expect them to take down IG or JD Gaming. Gone are the days where we expect them to make a strong showing to close down onto playoffs. I am just waiting for a decent team fight for them, for an initiation where you see LNG go in on the enemy team, coordinated as a 5-man, and win a team fight. We haven't gotten that in a very, very long time. It has come during desperation mode, but I think that was more like Asura than anything.
I think there was Asura forcing everyone's hand and basically saying, I will drag you with me if I have to. And you know, and for Vici, fantastic to see them take this game. And like you said, I'm delighted to see it was controlled. It was getting advantages. not being afraid, not being pushed or bullied in any particular way. Like during that Dragon kind of jostle for control, they didn't get, you know, overpressured. They didn't get overzealous. They felt calm. They knew they were in control, and they said, you know what, Corky, go topside. We know we got this. We know they can't start the Dragon because we now have teleport pressure. And they got everything. They got the top lane turret. They were able to get the Dragon. They were able to get mid lane turret. They just transitioned so smoothly from everything. And eventually, I gotta, you know, say for the Gragas in particular, just that last fight, he just hit the jungle and mid were just constantly looking for those little kind of back doors. They were always looking for little flanks. It was always like, I'm over here now. And it's like, well, I'm over here now. And eventually it was going to work out because you can't ward everything.
Yeah, Febfen effectively walked into 2 traps. He was cornered in 2 sides as you saw Gragas and Qiyana come in from both angles there. And that just goes to show you the growth of Vici Gaming. They're not a complete lost cause. After Rift Rivals, I'm really surprised by how strong some of these Vici games have been. And to see them finally maybe be able to close down on a series other than OMG is going to be a good testament to their growth.
Yeah, I completely agree. We'll have to wait and see if they are able to close out this series. We are going to come back after a very short break with Game 3.